Afternoon, everybody. Dan Trevett, Head of Strategic Accounts at Samsung Ads. Samsung Ads being the media division of Samsung. Oh, I've gone the wrong way. There we go, too far ahead. Okay, so as we've all seen over recent years, streaming has obviously accelerated massively. Now, that's great for us at Samsung, being the smart TV, we're very much fueling that growth, which is exciting times. Now, we're constantly seeing developments in this area. So from a consumer's point of view, it's obviously exciting times. But from an advertiser's point of view, there's bigger and better opportunities coming down the line. There are challenges around measurement, which as an industry we're facing, but it's certainly a very compelling industry to be in. Now, in the strategic accounts team, one of our other big focuses, is gaming. And we're seeing a lot of exciting trends and innovations around that. Being Samsung, we're spending a lot of money there, and there's some things I'll talk to you about today. Quick hands up in the room if you're a gamer. I think that was quite a risk-free question on my behalf, seeing the agenda today. Now, everyone knows, if you think about Samsung, everyone knows us for our great TVs, our great mobile phones, domestic appliances, etc. But we're also a big disruptor and innovator in the gaming space. And we're doing lots of things around that. Now, our TVs today are actually built with gamers in mind, and I'll touch on that a bit more later. At Samsung, we're in a unique position. Not only do we know when gamers are gaming, but we also know what they're doing across our TVs. And from an advertiser's point of view, that empowers them to be able to reach them, this growing, compelling audience on connected television. Now, when we think about how smart TVs have grown over the years, we can obviously really compare it to how we had our own journeys from traditional mobile phones to smartphones. They can do so much more today. They've got so much more power. And this is where at Samsung we're driving a lot of innovations, and we want to ensure that the experience for consumers is as rich and as relevant as possible. Some of the things you can see here, whether it's multi-screening, whether it's health and exercise at home in the comfort of your living room, which we saw explode massively during obviously the working from home, and we still see that today with hybrid working. Whether it's following your favorite recipe on your favorite cooking app, or even having a beautiful piece of artwork on your wall with our frame TVs. You can even set your lighting, set your heating, or even answer your video doorbell from your TV. There's so many things you can do today that even 10 years ago you wouldn't have even imagined doing on your TV. Of course, entertainment is the main thing you still do on your TV, whether it's watching linear, whether it's streaming. Now, with all the great content partners out there, and we're still seeing global content partners bringing new apps to our TVs, it's our job as both a manufacturer and a media business to ensure, as best as we possibly can, that users can discover all this great content that is out there and access it as seamlessly as possible. Now, entertainment on the TV is not just about linear, and it's not just about streaming. As you've probably guessed, it's also about gaming today. Gamers love Samsung TVs. You can see some stats there. We have the highest share of any TV manufacturer of console users. Over 5 million there across Europe, plugging in their consoles to play on the biggest screen in the household. Looking at the UK, we've had a 14% year-on-year growth in gamers. Now, yes, some of that is organic based on the fact that we have more TVs sold every year, but it's also down to our innovation and the work that we're doing around there to push the boundaries of the TV. One thing that, as we've seen, we've got 5 million connected via the HDMI, but in terms of innovations, it's the first time that Samsung has ever, in our 2022 model of TVs, put together a specific area for gaming. Now, this is called the Samsung Gaming Hub. This allows you to access all the biggest and best games from Xbox and other top streaming services without the need for a console, no download requirements, and therefore no storage limits. All you need to do is connect your controller and you're up and away playing playing your games. And that's really about how you can allow users to do it in a very accessible way. This is very, very exciting for us. It obviously appeals to current gamers, but we're also seeing coming on board those that may have not been willing to part with a few £100 for a console. So a very, very exciting time. Now, from an advertiser's point of view, it's great to know where gamers are gaming, but they also want to understand what else they're doing on their TV and how can they reach them. I'll touch on that later, but first a nod to the data points that we do have. Top left, TV device data. This is the attributes of the TV, the model year, the screen size. We know when it was first connected to the internet, as well as what broadband it's actually connected to. ACR, this is automatic content recognition. So this allows us to understand what people are watching on linear TV. From that, we can build insights and audiences. ACR, bless you. ACR also allows us to understand what TV adverts the household is exposed to, and there's interesting things we can do with that, and also what games they're actually playing. So not just understanding what console they're playing, but what game they're playing as well. Connected hardware, as I mentioned, anything that's connected via the HDMI, whether it's a set-top box or, of course, a games console, we understand that as well. So those three buckets of data there, first party, which is obviously more and more important in today's world, but it's also deterministic at a household level. It's not modeled on any panel, it's at that deterministic level. To augment this, we also partner with Kantar to add demographic data to all of this first-party data that we do have. Now, being the TV obviously puts us in a great position with all these data points in terms of what we can do from a measurement point of view. But with that, obviously, there's a lot of responsibility. It would be remiss of me right now not to just touch on privacy. Privacy is at the heart of everything we do. Obviously, GDPR compliant with all the local European nuances that are out there. We don't collect any PII data. It's all deterministic linear viewing habits at a deterministic level. Now, opt-in. Now, I don't know if anyone's recently bought a Samsung Smart TV. I actually have, and I've gone through the setup process, what we call the out-of-box experience. When you go through that process, there's a lot of pages to read. There's a lot of things about what we're doing with our data. Now, because you obviously want to get to that TV experience as soon as possible, we're cognizant of that. So we therefore have a double layer of opt-in. To add further transparency to this, we actually have a Privacy Choices app that at any point in time you can go in, reread all of that, and at any point you could opt in or opt out again as well. So looking at what gamers are doing on our TV, stepping out of just the gaming environment, if we look at their total screen time with our Samsung Smart TVs, in Europe, 45%, gamers are spending 45% more than non-gamers. In the UK alone, 53% more screen time than non-gamers. That is huge. Now, of course, part of that is fueled by the fact that they're gaming. But if we look at that overall viewership, over 50% of their time is spent streaming. The rest of their time is evenly split between linear and gaming. But you can see already that this audience, this growing audience, is becoming harder to reach in traditional linear environments. If we look at that in terms of some hard hours, on the left, UK gamers in Q1 spent 186 hours streaming versus 80 in linear. Similar story when we bring together the EU5 markets, 195 hours streaming for gamers and 101 within linear. Non-gamers, shorter hours in terms of streaming and about 50% more time in linear. So you can see how gamers do differentiate between non-gamers. Now, big audience, spending a lot of time in streaming. Are they a worthwhile audience to go after? They are very affluent. They are big influencers. Consumer research group Magid found that those that game over 10 hours a week actually have disposable income double that of non-gamers. Ipsos Media, in a survey with Google, actually ended up coining gamers as Uber consumers. They saw that 74% surveyed are willing to spend more for media and entertainment services, 85% willing to spend more on electronic products and services, and 73% willing to pay more for food and beverage services. So you can see across the board, they're an audience that need to be considered and need to be reached. Now, we often think about gamers in terms of early adoption of tech trends. That's mirrored in their support of AVOD environments, advertiser video on demand. We're seeing here that they're spending 41% more time in AVOD environments than non-gamers. Now, yes, the majority of their streaming time is within subscription video on demand, but today we see 34% of that time within AVOD environments. And we only see that growing, especially today, based on the cost of living that we're seeing. To add to this story, based on our own experience, Samsung TV Plus is our own AVOD offering at Samsung. We see gamers spending 10% more time here than non-gamers. And just a nod to the types of channels they're watching entertainment, news, documentary channels. That's just to say they're not just gamers, they're not just interested in gaming, they are, of course, viewers too. Now, it's fair to say that via the connection to the internet, the TV has never been more powerful. It's cemented itself as the hub of the home. It's the media center for all things from gaming to streaming. Now, in terms of innovations, which I'll talk about shortly, if we consider what offerings we do have to reach these audiences at Samsung, we have three major offerings. We have engagement ads on the left-hand side there. Essentially, when you turn on your Samsung Smart TV, or you are on your TV journey pressing the remote control, you are met with our first screen. Now here you can see that there's also an ad position. Now this ad position is primarily reserved for endemic clients, endemic being content partners that have apps on our TV, as well as gaming clients. We also can reach gamers when they're just about to turn on their console within that first screen environment. CTV, Samsung TV Plus, is primarily our driver there, where you can run that traditional linear style video ad, anything from 6 to 60 seconds. And then the Samsung Gaming Hub. Now, I touched on this earlier. This is where we're really driving innovation. As a reminder, Samsung Gaming Hub, no console required, no storage limits. You just, via Bluetooth, set up your controller and away you go. Now, if you haven't seen anything of this, let me just show you a sizzle reel. There's no volume. So look, you can see that's really exciting for us. We bring out new TVs April time every year. This launched on our 22 models, all 22 models across Europe. Across the globe, in fact, US is some differences on that. But you can see how that is really going to lead to more gamers using the big screen in the household. I'll finish there. I've got my email address there, so please note it down if you do have any questions. I'll be staying around for coffee later as well, so please come and grab me if you've got any questions. But quick overview of what we're doing. I hope you agree it's exciting and we're really doubling down in the gaming space. Thank you.